I'm Lee Liming, Director of Professional Services for Globus. My team works with researchers to build Globus features into their systems and applications. In a previous video, I showed you how to create an application identity in Globus. This identity is separate from my personal identity. I can share it with my team members, and it enables fully non-interactive use of Globus. In this video, I'll show you how to use an application identity with the Globus CLI, or Command Line Interface. The Globus CLI is great for writing shell scripts and other automated tasks. Application identities make a lot of sense for these automated scripts. Here's the Globus CLI. This is the first time I've used it on this system, so I'm not logged in yet. Normally, I'd use my own identity with the Globus CLI. The Globus login command allows people to log in with the CLI. Human logins are interactive. I have to log into Globus in a web browser and give the CLI my consent to use my Globus identity and permissions. This can't easily be automated. If I write scripts with the CLI and use my own account, I'll have to be here in person to start things up. So it's already not a great fit for tasks that have to run automatically. But let's do it anyway and see what happens. Now that I'm logged in as myself, let's ask the CLI what Globus collections I have access to because they've been shared with me. Yikes, that's a lot. The scripts I'm thinking of writing for lab management don't need all these permissions. Let's take a look at the collections I have administrator access to. Okay, yeah, I don't want my scripts to have this level of access. Let's see how many groups I belong to. Wow, each of these groups gives me permission to resources, and it's way more than the scripts I have in mind need. This doesn't look like the environment I want my scripts to run in. In the Globus CLI, you can bypass user authentication and use an application identity instead. I just have to set these two environment variables before giving CLI commands. I'm using the client ID and client secret for the application identity I created in the previous video. With these environment variables set, I can use the Globus whoami command to be sure I'm using the application's identity instead of my own. This application identity is brand new, so it has no permissions granted to it. If I search for Globus collections that have been shared with my application, there aren't any, yet. Similarly, when I search for groups my application's a member of, there aren't any, yet. This looks a lot better. I have a clean environment that starts with no permissions. I can now grant permissions to the application identity, giving it only what it needs to complete the tasks in my scripts. I can also share this application identity with my coworkers so they can help administer it. And any of us can manage the client secrets for this identity, deleting any that we think might have been compromised, and creating new ones whenever we need to. See my other videos to learn how to grant permissions to an application identity so it can work with specific Globus collections, Globus groups, Globus search indices, and Globus flows.